Attack of the show. Attack.
First of all, please welcome James Cameron back to the program, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, pardon my ignorance when it comes to 3D. I mean, you're the master on all this stuff. The top guy shoots the red and the bottom shoots the blue? Or how does
I think you know my opinion on the red-blue
I saw what you did to Jungle
system.
Ted. Yeah.
Exactly. You look pretty good with the camera.
Thank you very much.
You got potential.
I held that thing with more care than I held my newborn nephew.
Well, you know, how many babies are there in the world, and how many of
Bruises
these?
heal on
Come
babies.
I rest
this
my
thing,
case.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is one of the Cameron Pace rigs. What's this particular rig called? Do you know?
Well, you know, we call this a beam splitter rig or a mini beam splitter rig, and it's set up inverted so that we can use it handheld. It can go on a steady cam like this or whatever. You know, this particular rig, different camera sensor and different lens, but this rig was used on Avatar, and I did a lot of handheld shots on Avatar.
And this was something that was created
for the movie, yeah, exactly. I mean, we had been working on the Fusion camera system prior to that for about 7 years, and then the final configuration, you know, which this is, was made for the movie.
And now, whenever I see, like at CES, people were showing off 3D cameras, 3D camcorders, 3D everything, and it's always this side-by-side lens configuration.
It's a huge mistake. You see, they're making the same mistake that we made back, you know, 8, 9 years ago, which is, oh, you just put two cameras side by side and you've got it. Well, human vision works that way, but when you're watching a movie, it can't work that way, because you can't adjust the stereo space after it's baked into the image when it's been shot by the camera guys a year earlier or whatever. And it'll rip your eyes out of your head if you try to shoot everything with the two lenses side by side. So the beam splitter allows you to essentially have the two lenses go inside each other, you know, so that you can get that interocular distance down to a much smaller
Which means
distance.
you can decide where that 3D point is going to be, that focal point, how things are going to jump out.
Yeah, it's how much depth.
How much depth there's going to be.
Right. It's how much depth. And by reducing the depth as you get closer to a person, let's say in a close-up, it actually makes it watchable, which is the trick to doing smooth 3D for movies, where you have to cut from one thing to another, from a close-up to a wide shot, or back from a wide shot to a close-up. It all has to be, the stereo space has to be managed based on how far the camera is away from the subject.
Or else it'll be jarring, and then someone's getting vomit on the back of their head from the guy behind them in the theater.
Exactly.
So we have the camera on top, camera on bottom, and what other special hardware wizardry is going on here?
It's all made possible by this a 50-50 mirror. You know, it's like a trick mirror. It's called a beam splitter. And by moving, like this camera will move back and forth. I'm going to do it by hand here because this is not energized.
And Mr. Captain, please be careful. This is very expensive.
This is my baby.
Okay,
I get to do this. So if you, I don't know how well you can see this, but this camera is sliding back and forth. That adjusts your interocular distance of the two lenses. But it also can change angle as it's moving. It's got like it's you know, 2 degrees or 3 degrees of freedom here. And that allows you to control your convergence, which is, you know, where you're looking within the frame, where the sweet spot of the 3D is. And it's a 9-axis motion control system, silent, fast, and it weighs 28 pounds.
That's incredible. And both cameras have to be doing the same things in terms of zoom and focus and whatnot at the same time, right? So you've got hardware to control that?
Yeah, so these lenses have to be, they're all driven by servos. The zoom, focus, iris, everything's driven by servos, and they have to be finely calibrated to each other, so they're doing exactly the same thing at the same time.
I held this thing for 5 seconds to tape the intro before the show.
Try shooting a movie with it.
I mean, yeah. Did your camera guys just hate you by the end of this project?
I was the camera guy.
Did you really handle this thing?
Yeah. I operated all the handheld shots. The only thing I didn't do was Steadicam, because Steadicam is I have a great deal of respect for the art of Steadicam. So you know, I
have a new deal of respect for you, sir, because I could not hold that thing for 15 seconds. That was quite the burden, as light as the rig is. So.
Well, the good thing about it is, as a director, you know, you don't have a choice. Once the camera's on your shoulder, you're going to do the scene.
You got to go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you could take this rig, snap it off, throw it on your shoulder.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to do that? I can show you what it looks like.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Need a little help here.
Hop on in, guys.
All right, so.
Ready?
Okay.
This is like indie pit crew stuff here.
All right.
All right.
So Nathan's going to snap on the shoulder pad. That's really just a comfort issue.
Please don't end up on break.com. Everything that's happening there.
There we go.
Okay, so that is it. Now you're
Now we don't have. Here's our grips. This is configured more or less the way it was on Avatar.
And you've got controls there for your fingers as well?
Yeah, I've got you know, my zoom control is a thumb toggle over on this side, so I can set my focal length, my size, and you know, you can You know, it's really nicely balanced.
Yeah.
You can tilt up, tilt down. If you tilt way down, then I'll usually go to that kind of.
And you'll grab it there?
Yeah.
This I feel like you're about to shoot a bolt of plasma at me, though. Like, this is...
Everybody back!
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody move!
So, I mean, what grueling shoot day-wise, was there a particular take that was just damn near impossible to hold this camera and get it going?
You know, I think running with it is the hardest thing, you know, and there's a scene where Jake, or actually where the troopers are running down the ramp of the shuttle, and I was running down with them. By about the third take, I was ready to call. You know, that last take looked pretty good.
That one's good enough.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking, piece of shit, we'll fix it in post.
I hope that, I hope this isn't impossibly rude, but a rig like this, I mean, I know these cameras run, like, at least on this particular rig, they're like 30 grand each. With the technology, the software, I'm told there's a miniature PC in there to handle the syncing of the two cameras.
Oh, yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff you're not seeing where they control the interocular and convergence from off, you know.
Ballpark me. If I were to take this one off the lot right now, what are we talking for this rig?
Well, the prototypes cost more than the production models now, but you know, they're up there, and they vary they vary depending on exactly what they can do.
When someone says they're up there, that means I can't afford it. I'll stop asking.
Exactly.
Now, James,
think a couple of Ferraris, you know.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
then I won't vacation in Cabo for that week. So you have the rig here. This is Gadget Prawn, so we like to assign a rating to some things. The camera, the technology.
Nathan, you
sounds
want to
impressive. You guys want to take the camera?
Yeah. So Nathan is gonna just hold the camera so we can all admire it.
Yeah, so the camera is, to say the least, impressive. I appreciate the walkthrough, but most camcorders we see these days, they have features like smile detection. They can take high megapixel still frames.
Smile detection.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, even with that, this doesn't have direct to YouTube upload. I mean, there's features that are like...
We'll work on that.
So again, and it's a little heavy.
Off?
It's a little heavy, it's a little pricey, so it is points off. So we're going to give it a 2 out of 5, which is a good rating for new technology.
Chair, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What was that rating?
5 out of 5. Give it a 5 out of 5. 15 out of 5. There we go.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Thank you, Nathan, for showing off the rig. Appreciate it. James Cameron and Case Camera, thank you guys for being here. Keep the chair back in theaters. You got another chair. We're going to be chairless. Go see this Friday. Thank you so much. All right. Mr. Cameron.